Hello.
Hey, all right, sorry.
Hey, that's okay.
So you are working with more people now, and then they're asking you if you can do creative deals or what?
No, I asked them. I said, "Do you guys work with investors that do creative financing?" And that's what they said. If the Let me see what I too, because they kind of threw me out there, but I know what I'm doing, staying in real estate. But tomorrow I'm learning more, so I just started it. But they already gave us a list. So they said we do not, unless this deal is structured that way on the front end when we are putting it under contract. So I'm not really sure what they mean by that.
Wait, are they buyers? What's their role that you're talking to?
Their role is they're wholesalers, and they have a team that finds the properties, they buy them, and then they will wholesale them out to an investor.
Okay, so are do they need a creative closer? Is that what we're talking about? I'm a little confused then.
No, so then what my role is to find investors that want to buy it wholesale so they can flip it.
So you're finding the cash buyers. Okay.
But they said they would do creative financing if whatever that second message was, where it said unless the deal is structured that way on the front end when we are putting it on the contract under contract.
Right. So it sounds like
So
they could use a creative closer for some of the because they're
if
calling their own leads, right?
correct, they already have like a list of people for me to call, but they just gave me this is my first day. Tomorrow they're going to bring me the list of cash buyers, but they said if I find a creative financing buyer, so I'm assuming that means you're probably, if you were to bring someone that's going to buy it right away, we can do it that way. Is that what you think that means?
Uh, I don't know that there's all that much
So they
difference
get
between
paid.
creative buyers and cash buyers. I mean, some people only like spending their full amount of cash, but if you only have to spend 10,000 to get into a house that's 100,000, why wouldn't you?
Right. And so I think their bottom line is as long as they get paid up front, then that's
Yeah, it's
fine.
still going to be an
So
assignment
I'm
fee up front.
right, because and that's why I asked, because in the formula they gave me for one of the wholesale grids, they gave me a wholesale grid and they gave me a lot of other formulas to use, but it says assignment fee, which is what you just mentioned, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean
Because we
if
have a wholesale deal calculator.
so here's how and creative underwriting is a little bit different than your wholesale deal calculator. For example, the one I just did in New
Mhm.
Mexico, there's a couple, they got jobs, they didn't have any equity, right? They only owned the house for like 1 or 2 years and just didn't have enough equity to sell with a realtor, and they needed to
Mhm.
move fairly quick. So I said, what I can do is, and they'd missed 2 payments so far. I said, I will pay those 2 payments back for you. 3 payments, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll pay since
Mhm.
November. I will make all your payments since November, but no cash to you. And they said, okay. And so I got it
Okay.
under contract right there. So the last 3 payments was $2,200 as an upfront cost, and
Mhm.
then my assignment fee was $15,000. So the total entry fee, no, or the cash to get into the deal was 17.5 or 17.2 plus closing costs.
Mhm.
And then you just take over the monthly mortgage payment of like $710.
Right. So
But
then what do?
the
You bring an investor to flip the house?
No, I don't care who the buyer is. If I mean, there's a lot of people looking for creative deals. So if I get a property under contract, I'll take it to the sub two community, and probably find a buyer there. But if not, you market this out to cash buyers and say this is a sub two, a creative finance deal under contract. Entry fee is ABC. So this is how much cash you actually need to take the deal over. It still assigns just like a
Okay,
regular
so
wholesale. It's just less cash involved for the buyer.
do you own the property then?
The end buyer does. I'm assigning it. I have assigned that property to somebody else already. They paid a $5,000 non-refundable deposit, and the property closes on the 27th, and that's when I'll get the remainder of my assignment fee.
So how do you take over though? Like is the title still in their name? Like how does that work?
No, title transfers to the buyer in a sub two, and the debt stays in the original person's name. There's some extra paperwork on a sub two. So
Oh.
like a seller finance is a little simpler than a sub two. Um, for the buyer,
Mhm.
but there's you have to update the insurance. So I wouldn't say everybody's a cash or everybody's a buyer for a sub two. You got to kind of know what you're getting into, because you'll have to work with the seller somewhat long term if the insurance company or the mortgage company requests updated insurance or stuff like that. You're getting a login to their portal to make their payments for them and blah blah blah. So it's kind of a longer term relationship. But there's plenty of buyers for that. Seller finance,
Okay,
on
so
the other hand, is simpler.
basically the sellers hold the bank.
The seller
Am I
what?
understanding that correctly? They're basically the bank.
In seller finance, that's the case. But in a sub two, the seller is not the bank. The bank is still the bank. And we're just paying instead of them. If you gave me
I
your
don't
login
that
to your mortgage company and I logged in on your account and I made payments, are they going to know who made the payment, even if it came from a different bank account? Not really.
right.
Your
Okay.
your login
So
made a
let's
payment. So that's what we're doing is we're
so let's
saying,
do an example of
okay,
my house. Like, so you come to me and I'm the seller,
yep,
and you tell me what, like, say I'm behind in 2 payments.
and you're ready to sell, and how much equity do you have?
Uh, 50 grand.
Okay. So what I'm going to tell you, depending on the value of the house, is I'm going to say, listen, I can't bring $50,000 to the table here. You might have to take a discount in equity, or we might have to pay you over time. Let's simplify for the sake of just doing a sub two. Let's say you had $10,000 in equity. I would say, listen, I'll bring you
Mhm.
$10,000 cash at closing, and I will just take over and I will make your payments for you. You get to walk away, and you've got some cash. You can go get an apartment or whatever it is you're going to do with the $10,000. But this debt is going to stay in your name.
Mhm.
I'm offering to just take the property off your hands, give you cash for your equity, because what would happen if you went with a realtor? Would you have any money left over? Even if you sold at sticker price?
No.
Probably not, right? So
No.
the only reason anybody would do a deal with me right now is because I can help them. And what I'm doing is helping you by putting cash in your pocket. And you're helping me in exchange by letting me walk into a property for pretty stinking cheap when it comes to cash outlay. You understand?
Right.
So I'm going to put renters in
Right.
here or turn
Yep.
it into an Airbnb or something else. That's my whole business model. So if you're going to allow me to make your payments on your behalf, I will buy the property from you subject to those existing terms, your existing financing, and I'll give you some cash for the equity that you've built over time, and you can walk away.
And how long am I going to have the mortgage in my name?
As if it's up to me, as long as possible. We might have to change the cash outlay if you want me to refinance it pretty quick. I mean, I can do that, but it makes it a lot less attractive deal.
So say I want to buy another house in 5 years, and my debt to income is going to be affected because of that. What happens then?
Let's assume it is actually 5 years. In 5 years, this debt has been paid consistently for the next 5 years, right? So it's a performing
Mhm.
mortgage. It's good for your credit to keep this open. The length of an account being open is good for your credit. So you have that working in your favor. And as long as your income justifies the next mortgage, you shouldn't have trouble. Now, we may have to call 2 or 3 different loan officers and find somebody who's okay with it. But for example, real life personal example, when I bought my second house,
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
lender allowed me to refinance my first house and then use the proceeds from that to purchase my next house, because I had a
Huh.
renter with a signed lease. So he understood that not all of that debt I was going to be liable for. We had
Right.
somebody else signing up a signed paperwork. So whatever paperwork you need me to sign to show your loan underwriter for your next loan, I will sign, right? So if you need to sign a dummy lease that says, yes, we're leasing the property, we can do whatever it is to satisfy their underwriting needs. But
Right.
effectively, we are accountable for the debt. We're the ones who are responsible for the debt. You're the one that's accountable for it, right? So it's a two-part thing. We're responsible for it, you're accountable for it. And as long as we're paying, then it should not count against your debt to income
Right.
ratio, especially 5 years down the line. Now, if you're talking less than 1 year, we may have to talk to a few more extra loan officers to make sure that they're okay with it, but we're in it for the long haul.
Right.
We're here to help.
How do I trust that you're going to pay it and not default on the mortgage?
Well, we will put in a clause in the purchase contract that allows you to take the property back if you so desire. But our whole business model
Oh,
is to
if you
put
stop
renters in.
paying.
If we stop paying for some reason, like if my auto pay draft, whatever that is, stops working for some reason at the same time that I get hit by a bus and it starts going unpaid, then you're going to have a contract in your hand that says you can take the property back. It's a deed in lieu of foreclosure, and you can take the property
Oh,
back, and it
okay.
should be a performing rental property at that time. So we're going to do any repairs that we have to do on the front end, and we're going to put a renter in, and we're going to have a signed lease, and whoever's the owner of the property is the one that gets paid for that. Now you're going to have to make some phone calls and show people that now you're the owner, but effectively
Right.
that's how that works.
Right. Okay, so now I agree to that. Then what do? You find a buyer, right?
Yeah, so you agree to that. I send you a contract, and we get that contract underway. And then if
Signed.
I'm not
Mhm.
actually going to keep the property for myself as the wholesaler, then I will start
Mhm.
marketing the property and assign my position in that contract. But it will have all those
Okay,
terms
so
set up, right? So the
uh-huh.
performance deed or the deed in lieu of foreclosure, that will all be part of the contract.
Right. So basically I'd have to kick them out though if they wouldn't get out. Like say they have renters in there and you default and I have to go get the house back, I'd have to kick those people out, correct?
If they have a lease, they have a lease, and you have to honor the lease.
Well, I mean, like say the lease is up and they're not moving out because I want my house back, then I would
Yeah.
have to go to court and take them.
Yep. It would be an
Okay.
eviction. Yep.
Okay, my other question is, so say that you're going to give me $10,000 at closing and then you're going to assign it though to a buyer for a higher price to make another additional to
Yeah.
make a profit,
Let's say
right?
another 10K.
Okay, and then that buyer will come in and purchase the house cash or
Nope.
no?
That buyer brings
Or
$20,000
financing.
plus closing costs. 10,000 to me for an assignment fee, free, very like upfront. I'm not trying to bake my assignment fee into a purchase price. I'm saying the purchase price is $120,000. That includes 10,000 cash to seller plus a $10,000 assignment fee. So the cash to get into the deal is 10,000 to seller, 10,000 to me, plus closing costs, plus repairs. So the buyer has
Okay,
to bring
so
like 22.5 to the table unless there's a lot of repairs.
right, right. So then they take over it, but I'm still holding the mortgage.
That's right. But the title, the deed or title goes to the other person, and they start taking depreciation right away. They can do construction. They can choose to sell the house, and if they sell it, then the um, the new buyer, their loan will come and wipe out yours, and it'll cash you out, and you'll be gone, or your bank will be gone.
Oh, okay, I get that. So that's what I wonder if they're looking for, which I'll find out, but because I'm assuming they must own the property, these houses they've wholesaled, and they want to get rid of them to get everything out of their name. So maybe that's where they allow the assigned to with you because you would bring a buyer that could possibly cash out the deal. Does that make sense?
I think you're not on the same page.
I mean, that's what I'm going to find out. Like, why would they allow an assigned to if they can find a cash buyer that will come take over the entire thing?
Oh, yeah.
Unless I'm
So
like not understanding that.
creative is not the first strategy, right? By the time somebody gets on the phone with me, it's because there's a creative deal on the table, and that means cash has already been tried and failed. Realtor has already been tried and failed, or there's a reason they won't. And keeping it and renting it out or whatever has already tried and failed. Right. So I try to disqualify people on the phone. I only do creative closing. So when they get on the phone with me, I ask, so what did your realtor say? Oh, I'm not using a realtor. Oh, why not? Well, I don't want to have to clean up the house and do walkthroughs, or I don't think it'll pass inspection, or whatever their reason is. Right. Okay. Well, no realtors
Right.
then. So why don't you keep it? I don't want to be a landlord. Oh, okay. And then what was the cash offer they gave you? Oh, it's friggin' low, man. That's stupid. Pieces of junk won't offer me enough money. Oh, okay. Well, so then if I can pay you enough money, will you give me the terms I need to be able to buy it? What kind of terms we talking? I don't know. What kind of price we talking? And so then we get into it.
Right.
And that's where I get into the conversation. So if you'll let me walk into your and just take over your mortgage and make your payments for you, then I can take the property off your hands, right? You're only going to do a deal with me if I'm solving a problem for you. A sub 2 purchase is generally
Right.
not something people ask for. It's not necessarily a last resort, but it's not something you turn to first.
Right, right. And that's what I'll have to ask them because I don't know why. Because they said, like I said, if they have someone on the front end, they'll allow it. But I don't understand what that means, so I'll ask them to
Yeah.
explain better.
Ask them if they need somebody to close creative deals, creative leads, once somebody turned down cash. Because that could be me, and I'd be happy to give you like a little referral bonus or something like that for being helpful.
Yeah, that would be awesome because just being in real estate, yeah, I think that this will be really good and it'll teach. I would like to start wholesaling, so it'll teach me about wholesaling.
Right. And you're a realtor?
Yep, I'm a realtor, but now, I'm starting to do investments, so that's kind of
Right.
where I
Well,
want to be at now on that
well,
side.
I think you would have an opportunity. I can be a tool in your back pocket, right? So when you're working with people
Mhm.
or you come into a situation where somebody's got some weird stuff going on and it just doesn't work with the realtor formula, or they don't want to, or
Right.
they actually have a reason to sell, but the normal methods and cash won't work for whatever reason. The weird situations, you can say, hey, let me call Caleb and explain this to him and see if he's got a
Right.
solution for you. And you can still get some fee or referral fee or something like that for bringing me into a deal.
Right. No, I will. I always keep investors in mind because you never know what they could offer. Like you said, if they need help, the seller, is stuck in a situation that needs help. So
Yeah.
I definitely will keep you in mind. It's so confusing to me, but I've been reading up on it, trying to understand it. So
So
uh-huh.
Joe or John Smith calls you and says, hey, I'd like to sell my house. I heard you're a realtor. And he owes 90,000 and it's worth 100. What's your path forward? What do you normally do in that situation?
He owes, he owes 90,000. Then I would call you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, or
'Cause,
what if they've been trying to sell it for
uh-huh.
sale by owner and they're stuck on their price and it's worth 100 and they want 105 and they just won't back off that price
Right. Right.
and they own
The
it
only
free and
issue
clear.
I see is right. Well, a lot of them get sketchy of that. Well, why do I have to have my name in the mortgage? They get really skeptical of that. So
Well,
that's the
I
only
wouldn't
thing
try
I
to
think would
explain
be
that too
like,
early.
no, no, I would let you do that because I don't understand. But I've had that approach with my own house before, and I didn't like it. But I mean, it's a contract, so
Yeah, and you didn't
you
have
have
enough
to.
pain to need to do it. It was either poorly explained or you didn't have the pain or a problem to solve that was really the solution. So,
Yeah, I mean, it was, yeah, I was going through a divorce and I wanted the house. But I didn't want to keep it forever. I don't know. I remember someone approached me about it, but then I ended up selling it and I made, 60,000 off of it. So I'm glad I sold it.
there you go. Well, if
Yep.
somebody's
So,
overpriced or if they're stuck on too high of a price and the market just won't support it, I'm also the guy to call because I can overpay for houses if I can negotiate the right terms. I'm
okay,
hoping to
I'll
get this
keep that in
contract
mind.
signed today or tomorrow in Florida, but I'm paying 20,000 more than I should. But the guy's financing me for like
Mhm.
5 or 7 years, and that gives me enough time to build up equity so I can refinance it. I'm after cash flow anyway.
That makes sense. Yeah, I want to start doing stuff like that for sure. I'm doing my first flip right now, so after that, I would like to. I just drove for dollars today. 2 days ago, I have like 25 calls to make, so in this area, so I'm gonna
Perfect.
try and see what I can come up with for investors. But yeah, I'll keep you in mind for sure, and I'll let you know when I talk to him what he says about that.
Okay. Well, if you're looking for like a quick reference guide on what counts as like a creative lead, then I have that available on my website,
Mm-hmm.
kcclosers.com.
Can you text it to me and I'll actually look at that because
Yeah.
I want to study up on that, like I said, and learn more about it because that's the only thing in investing that confuses me is creative financing. I do not understand it,
Fair enough. Yeah,
but
I'll
now
text
I'm
it to
getting
you.
a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Text it to me, please.
Are you on my?
All right.
Have you
Thank
watched
you.
any of my
Uh huh.
YouTube channel? I've got a lot of recorded seller calls on there. That might help you as well.
No, because somebody just referred you to me. I have no
Oh,
idea.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
Good.
can send it to me.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay. Thanks so much.
I'll talk to you
All
later.
right. Bye. Have a
Bye.
good day. Thanks. Bye.
What fun. That was See, I want to set up a creative financing training course for realtors. Not course, but I want to do a presentation and just review this stuff and see what questions they have to see if I can be a resource in their pockets. And that was a perfect example of what realtors need to know about creative finance. How does this work? Why would somebody ever do that? Well, because I'm genuinely helping them. I'm not out to get people. I like helping people, and creative finance is what I specialize in. I can underwrite deals and I can get them under contract. I can either take them down myself or help find a buyer. So I'm hoping early in 2022 here to create a presentation that I can give live at a couple of realtor events, and then maybe publish a video of how that works. But again, perfect example of what realtors need to know about creative finance, because it actually solves problems. Bring me your weird deals.